Hey there, it's David H. Lawrence the 17th, and if you have never gone through the rite of passage of going to IKEA and purchasing a flat pack box of something, a set of dresser drawers or a bed or a cabinet or a table or a chair or whatever, you may be really surprised to find out how they arrive at their final product. First of all, their prices are insane, right? They're insanely low. And when I first learned about the process that IKEA goes through to create a product, it's just crazily backward from what most companies do. You'd think that they would be like most companies. They'd look at what materials go in. They'd see what kind of labor is involved, the distribution, how much they have to spend on advertising and marketing. And then if it's too much, when they come up with a final price, well, then they'll cut back here, they'll cut back there, and so on. No, they start with the price. So they say, okay, this table is going to cost $29. And at first look, it's going to look like a $69 table. Whatever it is, they come up with the price. In fact, let me read to you what it says on the site, because I heard this a few years ago, and I was just like, really? Price is what they start with? Okay. Their website says, at IKEA, we design the price tag first. And they don't mean the layout of the price tag, they mean the price. And then develop the product to suit that price. IKEA product developers and designers work directly with suppliers to ensure that creating the low prices starts on the factory floor. They consider maximizing production equipment, using raw materials efficiently, and applying technical innovations and the best possible design. It is all about making the most of our production process, keeping waste to an absolute minimum, and considering flat pack transportation and self-assembly. And it's all done in Sweden, and nothing is developed outside of Sweden. So it forces them to look at their entire product cycle in a very interesting way. It's not, okay, let's get this material, let's get this labor, let's see what that costs, let's add a percentage, a margin that would make us a reasonable profit. No, they work backwards. Now, they sell on price. They are competing with, Target and Walmart, and, they're not competing with high-end furniture stores. Their target is people that don't want to spend a lot of money, but they want to get a lot of utility out of something. Now, what does that have to do with us as performers? We don't sell on price. In fact, I've got a video coming up about how I would really like us to stop this race to the bottom and competing with each other to undercut each other. It really is. Other people have talked about it, but I have a particular take on it that I think is appropriate. We don't sell on price. IKEA does, we don't. But we can take a page from their process, and that is to maximize our production equipment and use raw materials efficiently. Our raw materials is what? Our time and our talent. Use those efficiently. Don't set yourself up with all the second guessing and the processes of editing and mastering that take forever. Keep waste to an absolute minimum. Our inventory is time, so let's not waste our time. That's what most of these videos are all about, is keeping you efficient so that you can take on more work and make more money. But what we don't do is we don't usually sell on price. I'm a firm believer that we really kill our industry when we start talking about price and saying, oh, I'll do it for less than the other person. We shouldn't be pit against each other, and we shouldn't think about how low can we go. We should think about what are we worth. And if somebody doesn't want to pay us that, well, then we'll just pass. We'll move on to the next person. We'll let them find somebody that they can pay for. And it's funny because the truth is that's exactly what IKEA says. Because there are people who won't pay $29 for a table, right? They want to go to Goodwill and get it for like $10. There's all of these different scales and stations on those scales of people who are willing to pay for a certain amount. We can maximize our profit in terms of time and money by studying how they do things, starting from the front back, in other words, the final price back, in our case, the final effect. So what will the client get for their money? What will the client feel like when they get that? How happy will they be? How satisfied will they be? How will it help them achieve their goals? How will it help them sell their product or service even better? So it's worth knowing about, and it's worth taking just the parts that can help us in our process, not the price part, but the maximizing of efficiency and using great raw materials and keeping track of our inventory of time and effort and so on. It's a really interesting thing to think about. I wonder how you think it applies to what you do. Are there things that you do that you have decided, yep, you know what, I'm just going to be the loss leader. I'm going to be the person that goes on Fiverr and I'm going to say, I'll do your commercial for $5 and I don't care about my fellow talent. They'll have to figure it out on their own. It's a path. It's not illegal. Or are you the person that wants to support the prices that make us all what we deserve? Our end benefit to our clients is we help them sell a lot more stuff when we're doing commercials, and we help them get booked on the air when we're doing documentary narration or promos. We help them do things that are far beyond just getting audio or video production done, right? So you have to look at our value to them as not just what they pay for, but the price being one thing and the value we provide for that price something completely different. Let me know in the comments below what you think about what I've just talked about. And also, if you've ever put together an IKEA product and had less than 5 screws and washers left, let me know that too. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, go ahead and click on my head there. If there's no head there, there's a subscribe button somewhere on the page. You'll find it. And if you want to see the latest video that I've done, go ahead and click on that frame there, and it'll take you to YouTube, and they will play it for you. I'm David H. Lawrence the 17th. I got to go put together a table. I thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow.